Every empire says its money is safe. Every government wants you to believe its promises will last. That's always how it starts. But history says something else. That those promises break sooner or later. It was like that in Rome, in France too, during the American Civil War, and today in Lebanon. People wake up one morning and realize this: the money they saved no longer means anything. Their salary isn't enough. And worst of all, the system they thought would protect them is nowhere to be found. Collapse isn't actually rare. What's strange is that we're still surprised by it. The real question is this: if something like this happens, where do you stand? Most of us look at our bank accounts, look at our country's currency, and quietly think, these will always be here. But they won't. Money isn't as solid as we think. Money is an agreement, a matter of trust. And sometimes, that trust really can disappear overnight. That's why history is cruel, but it's also incredibly instructive, because after every collapse, the same questions remain. Who stayed standing? Who lost everything? And why? Here's the strange part. The survivors are usually not the ones who trusted the most. They're the ones who doubted earlier. The ones who said, something could go wrong. Take Byzantium. It survived for centuries after Rome fell. The foundation of its economy was the gold solidus. It was so trusted that even merchants in distant lands accepted it without question. But then, they started tampering with the gold, thinning it a little, mixing it a little. At first no one noticed, but once people began to question it, it was over. Trust doesn't come back. And who didn't suffer at that moment, do you know? Those who actually held gold, those who owned land, those who had things the state couldn't easily touch. It's a very old lesson. When states play with money, real value quietly moves elsewhere. But not every collapse is caused by money. Sometimes it comes from an external shock, like the Black Death. In the 14th century, nearly half of Europe died, a horrific thing. But then something strange happened. With fewer people, labor became valuable. Survivors started demanding better conditions. Fields were empty. Houses were empty. For people with money, with skills, with the ability to produce, the world suddenly changed. Cheap land, abandoned homes, a massive disaster. That became a massive opportunity for some. If this reminds you of COVID, that's normal. The same thing happened then. Those with money bought assets. Those without struggled to survive. History doesn't repeat itself exactly, but nay, it hits the same place. Crises aren't fair. They never have been. They lift those with reserves. They crush those without. And then there are those institutions everyone says can't fail. The big banks of Florence, they lent to kings. The king stopped paying, and everything collapsed. The banks were gone. The deposits were gone. The trust was gone. People learned something the hard way. Being big doesn't save you. Looking strong doesn't either. The same lesson repeated with Lehman Brothers. It repeated in Lebanon, even during the American Civil War. Money was printed, its value fell. In the South, people received wages but could barely buy anything. But those with land, with food, survived. During the French Revolution, they printed paper money too. They handed it out with hope. Then it rapidly lost value. Farmers refused to accept it. People went back to trading with food and silver, and then Lebanon. People went to the bank. They couldn't access their own money. A lifetime of savings evaporated. That day, a very simple truth became clear. The money in the bank may not be yours when a crisis hits. All of these stories share one thing in common: collapse can happen. But it doesn't hit everyone the same way. If you're unprepared, it wipes you out. If you're prepared, painful as it is, it opens a door. And one last thing. The most important thing isn't just money, it's skill. Money can lose its meaning, but people still need to eat. They still need things repaired. They still need what's produced. People who can do something don't disappear in crises. They usually rise. So the question is simple. When the system cracks one day, will you be holding just promises? Or something that actually works? History answered that a long time ago. It's always been there for anyone willing to look.